Hello and welcome to RC Racing's highlights of the modified 112th European Championship from Scandiano in Italy and the RC Landia Racing Club. Well, a fantastic series of qualifying has left with Alexander Hagberg just pipping Ollie Jeffries to pole, 2 X-rays there. It's Marcus Mowers in 3rd, Alexander Ront in 4th, Daniel Sieber 5th on the grid, Simo Animi 6th, Arnaud Lampierre 7th, Dominic Vogel 8th, Huber Honigel 9th and Matteo Fantini 10th. And of course we are bringing you this all thanks to RC Timing, thanks to Protoform, thanks to Zen Racing, and of course thanks to EFRA, who make it possible for us to run all around Europe and show you these fantastic events. So we're getting ready to go with Hagberg already round, the halfway around the corner. He's out and away. Hagberg, good start. Jeffries' cars looked a little bit less than good over the past couple of runs. The last run last night and the first run in the practice this morning, but he's rebuilt his car since the last run a couple of hours ago, and he's done quite well. He's got a nice lead over Mobers in 3rd. So it's Hagberg who's got away cleanly. Jeffrey seems to have got away reasonably well in 2nd, and Mobers in 3rd, fresh from his win in the Stock Championship. So Hagberg pulling away quickly. It looks actually, in fact, the movement here is Mobers up towards Jeffries. And Jeffries' car, once again, is looking a little bit unpleasant. He has had problems with the car in the first minute. It doesn't settle down that quickly. But this time, he's beginning to slightly hold up Mobers as he waits for his car to come in, waits for it to settle on the track, waits to settle on the additive. But all the time, his teammate, Alexander Hagberg of Sweden, is getting away. And Mobers is saying, look, I'm faster, let me through. I need to start attacking at the Swede, but he can't. Because Jeffries is running a very good defensive line as he now goes through the Zen Z and down to the Protoform P. And though he's slipping up to the Centre S and along the main straight before they come to the TV turns. Very tricky. Oh, okay, on the inside there was Mobers, but Ollie is saying, no, I am going to keep 2nd place. My car will come to me. I will then take the chase to Hagberg. The car is actually very snappy. That was a nasty bit of over-rotation you saw there as he's about to turn into the Zen Z. Behind there's a little problem. Oh, when he's at the side. Oh, that was amazing. Ollie made a mistake there going into the TV turns. He hit it. He was about to go up, then Marcus actually hit him back the right direction again. Who would have believed that one? So behind them, I think it's now may even be Hupo in the white car. Is it Honigel has come through now to 3rd overall? I'm not sure, but just trying to identify that. But it's Jeffries now is forming a bit of a trade. It's a bit like the old, rather than gaining a place, Mobers loses his place. He bounces past him, and that's really not what he wanted to see. And Jeffries now is building up, a bit of what we call F1 a truly train, qualifying well, and then having a car. And Marcus, another problem with Mobers. He pings off the barrier. And things just not looking right as the 2 white cars chase down. And it is indeed Hupo Honigel in 2nd, and behind him it's the other white machine, I think, of Daniel Sieber. Actually, it's my mistake because it's actually Sieber who's leading Honigel. The 2 white cars. Oh, but that's a mistake there from Honigel. And then it's the orange machine of the number 10 place starter, Massimo Fantini, who's come through. Oh, and then one of the white cars has taken out Ollie Jeffries. It's all got... carnage has broken out, and now it is from 10th to 2nd has gone Massimo Fantini. Behind him, I think, is indeed Honigel, and then we have the car of Mobers now coming back up through again. So Vogel now has a bit of a gap before Sieber, and then Mobers back on a charge. And then behind them, it's the yellow, white, and silver car of Laurent Alexander. And these 3 cars, so it's a 10th place man, the guy and Sieber, who I think started in 5, and the guy who started in 3, are all a very, and that green car at the bottom of the shot, that is Hagberg. Hagberg has got 3/4 of a lap on the rest of the field, because what's happened is they were held up by Jeffries to begin with, as he was struggling for grip, and his car's going backwards at the moment. And then they've been arguing themselves. It's just the 10th place man of Massimo Fantini to take 2nd place, with Sieber behind him, and then behind him is Mobers, who's recovering from 2 mistakes through the TV turns as he was trying desperately to get past Jeffrey so he could have a bit of a chat, a bit of an attack on Hagberg. And it's now looking like Alexander Ront is going to start driving through. But I can see that there is a green flash, and that green flash you see, that's your leader. He's only 2 corners away from lapping 2nd place. As it's like, maybe then Sieber just clips slightly outside there. But it's Fantini with the orange and black machine, the Italian. Sieber with the Iacoma, keeping tight. Again, turning well, and they go through the switchback, and before they go back through the Zen Z, around the Protoform P, and up through the S. Powering down his modified motors, probably hitting 45 to 50 miles an hour. Oh, he just tried to get in there. 45 to 50 miles an hour, and they get there in about a 1.5 seconds. unbelievable power, and of course electric motors have full torque from 0 revs. They just go, and so in a lot of cases it's controlling the power. These things can have, there's enough power, enough battery power for them to be far too quick. And Mobus has trundled way down the field now. I can see him just ahead of Vogel, who's managed to get himself into a nice bit of free space in second place now. He's kind of on his own, and then we come through that. Oh, and a mistake there. Hagberg has made a mistake, but actually he has a 9-second lead. So a mistake like that of half a second. Oh, he's now got an 8.5-second lead. It's not actually serious, and Hagberg is looking the definition of completely untroubled. This must have been what he was dreaming of when he was asleep last night. A leg final where he got away, the guy in second place held up everyone, then there was a kerfuffle, and suddenly he's best part of a lap ahead of everybody. He's still going quickly, his lap times are very, very good, apart from that little mistake a lap or so ago, but as he begins another lap, and I think he's about to get past Arnaud Lampierre, the other Frenchman, indeed he has done. It is quite remarkable how things can fall into the perfect place. We're so used to seeing things that have gone wrong. This hasn't gone wrong, this has gone perfectly. Fantini in the orange is still, we believe, in second. He's been chased down quite hard by Alexander Laurent, the other French guy, with the CRC. And there's Jeffries. Oh dear. Jeffries is about to get lapped by his teammate. And that is not what he was thinking when he was lying in bed last night. He must have been so disappointed with the car. He had a problem in the last qualifier. The car didn't look right. He actually damaged it, but he rebuilt it overnight. He wasn't happy with it during the warm-up or the practice final. He rebuilt bits of it again, and the net result is that the car is just not handling it. And oh, we go now moving quickly down, and that is a change. We've just off camera, a change of second. It's a mistake by Fantini, and Alexander Laurent of France has nipped into second place. Still absolutely, there's Hagberg, the leader, miles ahead. But it is Alexander Laurent, who was the man who actually TQ'd the first round of qualifying all the way back on Friday evening. Actually TQ'd the stock one as well. He had a fantastic Friday evening. Pace went off. It kind of think really has shown how this track has evolved through the course of 2.5 days of 100 cars going down it 5 or 6 times a day for 8 minutes, putting down additive, moving the carpet around, and it has been an evolving track the whole time. Not necessarily getting quicker, in fact not getting quicker after the first couple of rounds, but just being different. Sometimes you turn in, sometimes it will snap. These cars are the best balances. If you looked at the cars like I was driving, or the earlier heat, you can see there was a struggle to keep the cars because they were doing different things at different places in the same, different things at the same corner at the same time, and that is always a nightmare. And we can see there is as Hagberg now is coming up to lap. I think that is maybe the fourth place. It is Daniel Sieber, who's in fourth. You can see in front of him Fantini, and Hagberg is about to lap fourth place, which in an A final is pretty much unheard of. And Sieber lets him through, and Pro goes, "Where the blinking heck did you come from? How the hell are you so far ahead of us?" But the reason is because they got held up by Jeffries, then there was an accident, and Hagberg's been incredibly quick. So he's halfway through his first European Championship. Despite all the championships that Alex has done, he's raced in multiple classes. He's never won a European Championship. And this could be his maiden European Championship, and of course X-Ray's maiden 12th Championship as well. As he gets through, and I think interestingly, sneaking through the battle now for third, has hotted up behind him. You see it in the background as Sieber used the advantage of Fantini letting through Hagberg. He's got through, so Fantini made a mistake off camera, but he was unsettled by Hagberg going past him. And we're now coming to the final lap. It's the last lap. It's a victory lap for Hagberg. He's going to take this one through. He's got a few corners. In fact, he's won because he's effectively a lap ahead of everybody. He's got a couple of corners through the Zenzi, back around the Protoform P, up through the ZRS, and that really is how you do it. Hagberg wins leg 1. Look at a double. And away they go. It's a clean start. Jeffrey's car looking better already after 2 corners, and the slight problem which has taken out the 7 machine, which you've got, and that is Lampierre, I think, and it's a problem for him because his car is deranged. And going through, already Mobus has got past Jeffries, and there's a huge pressure, in fact, for Alexander Laurent. So Jeffries lost that position, and in the lead is Hagberg, but the battle is 2nd, 3rd and 4th, and that's where the cameras need to be. Already coming at a lap after the problem, but 2nd is now Mobus, 3rd is Jeffries, 4th is Lampierre, and Sima Animi finally finding some pace. It moves into 5th. And Mobus now trying to bridge the gap to Hagberg. The 3rd, 4th and 5th battle is on your screen at the moment, but we've got Mobus desperately trying to bridge the gap to Hagberg, and you've got Hagberg thinking, well, I'm just going to get out in front. But Mobus's car has looked good from the last run yesterday. He doesn't work on it. Ollie's car has not looked quite as good from the last run yesterday, but he does seem to have a bit more pace. Oh, he made a mistake! And suddenly, that one clip, he's down to 7th, and that is the end, I'm afraid, of Ollie Jeffries' chances of the European Championship. Now, I don't like saying that because obviously he's one of our friends, he's a great guy. But I don't think after that accident, and now dropping way back the field behind everybody, including Honegal, the only person he's back to 9th place. But now we move forward. We've seen there's a battle as Anonimi now tries to get up and round with Lapierre. Not Lapierre, he's a touring car racer. So we're back at the front again. The front with Hagberg. Hagberg's just lapped that car behind him, which is Arnaud Lempier. And it's Clayton Mobers, who's about 1.5 seconds behind, trying to get up. But luckily, Lempier fell out of the way of Mobers, and Mobers has a clean run at Hagberg. Hagberg has to decide, do I control this leg too, or do I push, and try and induce a mistake in the chasing Mobers? Coming from 3rd, even if Mobers wins, Hagberg will go into the final leg, a massive favourite. Certainly the gap is coming down. It's down by 2/10, and we've got 6 minutes to go. It's only a quarter way down. Unlike the first leg when Mobers got stuck behind Ollie and the train of cars and then got involved in various collisions and never got a run at Hagberg, despite having a car which looked good. This time he has got the run. He got through past Ollie in the first lap, and now he can see where he can run at Hagberg. Hagberg effectively had a country drive for the first round. He could stop. He actually was able to stop and have a picnic from the back of a Mini Minor during it. He'd been let through there by the Massimo Fantini, so the car in effect dropped back slightly there with Mobers. Mobers didn't really see what the problem was, but he seemed to have just a messy half lap as another car crashes, but not one of the leaders. So Hagberg, let's drop back and the car 4. Let's drop back to Mobers, who's car 3. There he goes. He's now going to get part, and he's let through almost immediately there by Massimo Fantini. But Mobers, who now has reduced that to 1.396 seconds on RC timing. And that's what we want, to get a car put back in again. But the other cars are being very, very respectful and knowing exactly what to do and letting guys through. Mobers a little bit closer this time round. Gap down to 1.2, but I think if he actually gets his next 2 corners right, he can come down a little bit more. But he has 4 minutes 40 to make it up. And visibly it went down below a second. So Mobers, good lap. Hagberg, not so good lap. And the crowd looks on in expectant throng. There's a silence as people watch as the cars go around in a metronomic fashion, in a mesmeric way on this grey, slightly worn, slightly strange bumpy carpet that has confused and befuddled people like myself and Mark Stiles, but have given no problems at all to people like Alexander Hagberg and Marcus Mobers. Hagberg now coming up to lap Ollie Jeffries, as Ollie's car once again just isn't working when it comes to finals day. From the last run yesterday, it's really not had a very good car, and hopefully he knows why, but it just seems that something's gone wrong. I'm sure when he gets home we'll find something that's not working. And it must be exceptionally disappointing for Ollie that what really midway through yesterday was looking like a fantastic chance for victory has melted away with an ill-handling car, not poor driving. So now we have Hagberg leading, and he's got that lead back out to 1.2 seconds. Mobers is behind Jeffries, and Jeffries very sportingly, because of course Hagberg is his teammate, very sportingly lets Mobers through. Some great driving there, and Mobers now can get back onto the chase with 3.5 minutes. But we've seen this chase for the last 3 minutes, and the gap has not changed. It's stayed around the 1 to 1.5 second mark. Behind them, Simo Amanimi finally gets some pace in his machine. He's run to 3rd. Laurent Alexander is 4th. Hongel's 5th. Jeffries actually in 6th, despite being a long way being lapped. But the key point is at the front, Hagberg is controlling it. He doesn't seem to have the issues you would expect. He's just controlling it. Mobers is pushing as hard as he can. Obviously, he's just won a round of the stock final. He's in the chance of becoming European champion in stock. But to have a chance of being modified champion, he needs to win this race, or certainly it needs not to be a win for Hagberg. 1.1 second with 2 minutes 40 to go. Mobers through the Zen Z and down through Protoform P, and now up through the Center S. We wait expectantly for the next gap to come through on the Power by RC timing screen. And it's 1.3, it's gone up slightly, 11.568 to 11.7. Hagberg's got the pace in the car, and he's using it when he needs to just give himself a little bit of a safety net. You don't want the guys too close, because they might try a lunge. At this point, it is, it's nothing or bust really if you can get close. There's 2 minutes to go. We've got a quarter of the race left to go. Hagberg is going to come round to lap Fantini for the second time. Fantini's car does not look particularly well. But it looks also as now Hagberg is just beginning to ease away. He's up to 1.5 seconds from Mobers. Now 1.7 seconds. As Hagberg eases out from Mobers, and Mobers at this point perhaps begins to feel discouraged. However, 1.7 seconds is really half a mistake. But we haven't seen a mistake from Hagberg since yesterday evening. And that was why I find his car already looked blipping quick. Minute and a half to go. Hagberg and Mobers. Hagberg has just lapped Honegal, and we're down to 1.25 minutes. The gap easing up to 1.69 seconds. Not only is Hagberg lapping people, but he's also managing not to lose his lead. It's all about quite, he lost about 0.2 in fairness, but Mobers really isn't got that movement. With only a minute and a bit to go, you can't see unless, oh, and it's Mobers who makes a mistake. It's Mobers who made a mistake coming onto the main straight there, just wiped out, and that is probably going to mean we now are looking at the new European champion. It looks like Sweden is going to claim a new European, their second European champion in a few months after Dave Brunnerfolk took the 1/8 Rallycross Championship, as Sweden becomes a new RC powerhouse. Obviously, RC is run by Sweden in the form of Dallas Matheson. But Hagberg and the X-Ray, he's looked in great form. In fairness to me, he's one of the people he was the person I thought was most likely to win this event before I got here. And said so on the first day. As Matt looks kind of like, oh, there's a problem there. And suddenly they're all together because there's a confusion as Hagberg trying to get past Honegal. And all of a sudden, it's thrown open again. 13 seconds ago, they've got one lap. Suddenly, the centre side, and Mobers gets a chance after a confusion in that corner. And from being a victory mark and energising as I was, it's gone through. Oh, now what they're going to do? What are they going to do now? Because Mobers is going to win this. Or is he? No, I don't know who's won that. Hagberg's won it. Well, that was a confusing end. Hagberg has won. Hagberg is the European champion. Here's a congratulations to his dad. Alex, quick word. That is a fantastic performance, but that was a really odd last lap.
Yeah, I think I slowed down a little bit and I hit a back marker. I can't really remember, but yeah. Marcus hit me and he let me go, so.
I mean, explain to me, how do you feel? You've finally done it. You've become a European champion, and you've done so many European championships in so many different classes, and finally it's all come together.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty close a couple of times before, so obviously it feels very good to be champion.
And they're off. And can Ollie get a car that works this time? If he can, he probably might get to the podium, but no better, as out rolls already Ananimi. So it's been a bad start for Ananimi. He's dropped way back. But Jeffries is going, Mowers is on the rent, so this is the battle for second overall. Ollie's car looking a little bit better, but still not great. As they move round. With 2 laps in. Jeffries is the lead of half a second from Mowers. Mowers didn't take the switch back pretty well then. And they go back past onto the main straight, in through the TV turns. It must be a very calm start. Moving through the field nicely is car 7 of Arnaud Lampierre. But he has had some problems in previous heats. So it goes round. It's Jeffries, Mobers, and the 2 Frenchmen, Lant and Lampierre. Finally, Jeffries seems to have a car he can drive. I don't know what he's done with it, but he seems to finally have something that works. Certainly, the problems he had in the first 2 laps where he was basically a moving chicane have gone. It was a big accident for, I think that was Lampierre, it may have been, in the background. But Jeffries now is beginning to be pressurised by Marcus Mobers at the front. So Mobers is making his move. Though I'm almost certain that second will probably be enough to keep him in second overall, if it's Jeffries who wins. He dives, looking left, looking right. A little touch to the side there as Jeffries starts again a little bit tighter on his lines. He wants to make sure the Mobers can't get through. They come down the straight with 2 minutes, almost 2 minutes gone. Don't need to read out the times. You can see the top 3 cars there together on the same frame. Jeffrey's car for once looking the best it's looked since about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. So it's taken 24 hours to get back to this. Unfortunately, in between that, there's been another qualifying round and a practice final and 2 finals where the car has not gone well. Ollie clearly has found one of the reasons of the problem, though it's still not perfect, but their Mobers is exceptionally fast. Took off the final round of stock qualifying to Mobers because he already got on pole to develop his modified car more, and it certainly paid off. But as he said to me only a couple of minutes ago, he just wasn't far enough up the grid. Especially with the pole position, which should have an advantage, which is great, actually here has a big advantage because of the way the starting position is round the corner. And they are locked together, Jeffries and Mobers. The distance is not getting up, it's not going down, it's staying at that kind of minimum distance, about 2/10 to 3/10 of a second. Laurent himself is actually now closing the gap up, and in fact in that lap it's slightly edged and flowed a bit, and Laurent is closer to Mobers and Mobers is to Jeffries. And perhaps Jeffries now can start relaxing and enjoying driving his car for the first time. Very tight there in the TV turns. Just lost a little bit of momentum as he took too much blue grass. And Mobers continues to hunt him down. Mobers already the stock European champion. He won that about an hour ago. And now it's his chance to become second overall in the modified, which we have to say is a reasonably good weekend's work, especially compared to my results and everyone else's. Slight lift there, Ollie now. Mobers has found a real bit of pressure, and Ollie having to go slightly defensive. But interesting, between the two of them, they obviously put some speed on because they've managed to drop Alexander Laurent, even though at this point Mobers is really able to go significantly faster, I'd say, than Jeffries. But the point about it is you've got to get past. At the moment, Jeffries has made a mistake. He's running completely clean. And more importantly, the car appears to be going where he wants to do, which has not always happened in the first 2 finals. So something's been worked out by either the X-Ray team or the British team as to what was causing the problems in the first. Oh, Mobers couldn't have got any closer. You couldn't get a cigarette paper, if you knew what one of those things was, between them at that point. It was a piece of tissue paper or a tissue. But he had to back off because he was going to hit him. And the effect of that is that Laurent begins to close up in third. So the train is kind of like expanding. The gap between first and third is expanding and contracting. And it's Mobers who's kind of going between them two as well. But at the moment, he's ridiculously in the gearbox of Ollie Jeffries. And yes, these are single final drive cars. I've said gearbox before here, and people go, oh, we haven't got gearboxes, but they've still got gears. And there's no box. Fixed drive electric motors. 3.7 volt cells. Unlimited motor these are. Probably putting about 45 miles an hour, perhaps a bit more on the straight. But they get there in less than a second. We are now 5 minutes down, 3 minutes to go. Jeffries has led every single inch of this, and Mobers has been harrying him ever since the end of the first lap. At this point, I'm just wondering whether Mobers is sitting there and hoping for a mistake. Jeffries has done this many, many times. He's been in the lead. He's had a lot of experience of leading in Britain this year, winning the National Modified Championship. Mobers, much more international in where he runs. Part of the fact he obviously runs mob guns. He's almost a professional racer, so he can get himself out to the Snowbirds and the 2IC and run against the Americans in their various classes, including mod. And of course, Ollie would probably say that his main focus is touring cars. But in the winter, he's been very effective. He's British national champion, and we're finally seeing the form from him we didn't see in the first 2 finals, where he didn't. I think one of them he didn't like. He belonged in it. But that is the problem with the car. Sometimes on this, you can just sometimes get a 12 car so wrong, especially on a strange surface like this, a well-worn carpet, heavily additivized, and quite bumpy. And despite him being absolutely on it all the way up to yesterday afternoon, from yesterday evening onwards, there's been a problem with the car. Now, maybe there was a problem they didn't know. It's like it was bent and they've sorted it out. But it's a transformation in the machine between the second and the third finals. He was lapped twice in the first final. He was lapped at least once in the second final. I know Hagberg's not there. He wouldn't be a lap ahead, that's for sure. And Mobers is keeping him honest as much as he did Hagberg. So Mobers just now looking for some sort of error. A minute and a half to go. They've been this far apart for the entire period of the race so far. We've seen 6.5 minutes of 2 cars nailed together as they go around this tricky, bumpy RC Landia track. And thank you to the organisers here. They've been absolutely fantastic to us. They've really helped us provide this coverage for you. Scandiano, and we're now down to 1 minute and 13 seconds, about 5 laps. And Mobers is sitting there, and I'm not really pushing. I think Mobers knows that second gives him second, so he's probably thinking, oh, well, I'll push, but if Ollie makes a mistake, that's nice. If Ollie doesn't make a mistake, I'm still second. I'm not sure where a win will take Ollie. His first 2 rounds were so poor, I'm not sure that they even take him onto the podium. It's very, very rare that you win a leg and you don't at least make the podium. Happened to Tushihara at the Worlds in Bangkok in 2008. He won a leg but didn't make the podium. In second place was someone who had 2 seconds, Ronald Volker, and of course have second place. 2 second places is what Marcus Mobers will have here in the 2014 1/12 modified European 1/12 Championship. We're now down to 25 seconds. Ollie Reed just needs to keep it on the island for 2 more laps from now. And it's even slightly eased out a lead on Mobers, and this is going to be a useful and I'm sure a confidence-inspiring win after what must have been a very depressing, is probably the wrong word, but very trying day for Ollie. He's finally found the form. As Mobers really pushes hard in this last lap, suddenly he found a little bit extra pace. I think he should decide, oh, I'll give it one last go. We've got one last lap. They now need to go over this last. I think they're going to finish though. I think this is going to be it. And it is, and Jeffries finished at 41.805. Fantastic performance by Jeffries. Nice performance by Mobers.